What's up guys, welcome back. In today's video we are going to look at how to use layers in Rhino, and in the end I'll show you two tools that will be helpful in our next video, which is going to be a video involving the modeling of an umbrella. So let's get into this one. Alright, just like any other software, Rhino also has layers. So for those of you who don't really know what layers does, what layers does is it's help you to keep your workflow or your project organized, and also easy and simple to work. In Rhino, our layer panel is on the right side of the screen. So when you look at the panel here, the first one is properties, the second one is the layer panel. Usually the properties panel is selected, so when you come here, just select the second one, which is the layer panel. Alright, let's do something now so we can get into how to use the layers. Alright, so we have a cube here. We are going to assign this cube to a layer on the layer panel. So in order to, when unlike other 2D softwares like Photoshop or Clip Studio Paint, that you have to create a new layer before you can start working, here you can work without creating a new layer. The app has its default layer that whatever you do will be on that layer, so you don't necessarily have to create a new layer before you can start the project. You can just start straightforward. So you can model anything. See, just add some stuff. Yeah, you can model a lot of things. All these things will be on one layer, the default Rhino layer. So what you have to do is you have to go to the layer panel and then create a new layer by clicking on this icon here. This is the new layer icon. So you create a new layer by clicking on it, and then you can rename it. Let's rename it as cube. So once you have your layer down, you can then select the cube. Select the cube from any of the viewports, and once it's selected, you come back to the layer, right click on the layer, and then choose change object layer. When you choose change object layer, what you've done is you have assigned that particular model to the layer. So if you there's a bulb icon in front of the layer. It's used for turning on and off the layer. So in order to see whether your cube has been assigned to the layer successfully, you can try turning off that bulb, and you see that the moment you turn it off, it hides the cube, and when you put it on, it comes back. So let's try to assign the other objects to layers. So create a new layer and name it ball. Now we come into our viewport, select the ball, and then come back to the layer panel, right click on the ball layer and select change object layer. Now let's create another one for the cylinder. So come back to the viewport, select the cylinder, come to the layer panel, right click on it and click on change object layer. Now we have assigned each object here to a different layer, so you can turn them off and on while you are working. It makes things organized. And for instance, if you are modeling a very heavy project, like a very complex or complicated object, you will need to be able to zoom in and out and add some details, and that's where layers comes in. So sometimes you have to, if you are modeling a building or a house and you are making the interior, you have to be able to hide the walls of the house so that you can zoom in into the interior and focus there. So layers helps in some of these things. Now another importance about layers here is, if you are rendering in an external render engine like KeyShot, when you import your object in KeyShot and you are rendering, and you see KeyShot has pre-rendered materials. So if you are going to render, let's say this 3 objects in KeyShot, when you import it in like this without layers, the moment you drag a material on it, the software sees it as one whole object. Since it's on one layer, that's the default Rhino layer, so it will apply that material to the whole thing in the scene. But if you have them in layers already in Rhino, before sending it to KeyShot, it identifies the layers and then gives them the various material separately. I'll import this so that we can see what I'm talking about. So let me save this and then send it to KeyShot. Okay, let's import our object and look at what I'm talking about. Now we have our 3 objects here, and we've already assigned them in Rhino. So let's try to apply materials to it. First, let's give the cylinder a drywall effect. Let's give the cube a tile effect, and let's give the ball metallic effect. So as you can see, it's the materials were applied to the object or the models individually. Now let's try sending the same thing. Let's delete this and save the same thing in Keyshots. See how that will work. So let's import the ones without layers. Import. Okay, and let's try and apply a material on it. You see what I'm talking about? So you realize that if you don't put your objects or your model in layers in Rhino before bringing it here, when you try applying a material to one, the material will be applied to everything in the scene because they are all in one layer, and so the Keyshot software treats the layer as one. So when you apply a material to the object, it sees it as one layer and then applies it to the whole layer. You can, however, apply the material to the models here individually, but that's a long process. So best thing is to lay out your layers well in Keyshots before bringing it to Rhino, before bringing it to Keyshot to render. If you are unable to do that for any reason and you want to individually render your objects in the scene, you can simply go to the right side of your app. You are going to see model set. Yeah, so under the model set is the Rhino file we imported. So this is the layers. These are the layers for the Keyshots app. So you can open it up. When you open it, you are going to find the 3 objects under that layer. So it serves as kind of like a sub layer containing all the 3 objects individually. So now what you can do is you can just drag the material you want to render for the object on the layer panel, and it will take the shape of that. You drag it on it like this, and it will take the shape. The model will take the properties of the material. Yes, so this is a long process for me because if you have so many objects in your scene, it's going to be a very tedious work, and I'll prefer you laying out your layers well in Rhino before bringing it to Keyshots. Okay, let's get back to the Rhino app. So like I said, in our next video we are going to look at how we can model an umbrella, and the handle for an umbrella has a curve to it, and so I'm going to show you two tools that you can use to achieve that curve when you are modeling. So the first tool we are going to look at is the blend tool, the bend tool, bend, BEND. So how the bend tool works is, if we have a let's say a pole like this, and we want to, so we are trying to achieve the curve area of some umbrellas. So, and we want to bend it in that form. What we are going to do is we will select the pole and then type bend in the command BEND, and press enter. The moment you press enter, you can expand the front view and then start bending your pole. So in the command line, it is saying start of spine. So the start of spine is where the bend is going to start from. So we can start our bend here. So you click and then it's asking for end of spine. So we can end our spine somewhere here. So we are going to bend it gradually to achieve what we want. So click on it, then point to bend through. So you just turn your mouse cursor like that. It's going to bend. If you are satisfied, you click. Now we are going to continue the bending. So another way to reselect a command that you've already used is by right clicking on your mouse button. So in order to use the bend tool that I used right now, I don't have to go back and type in bend again. I can just right click on my mouse and the bend tool will be activated. So now let's start our spine from here. Click, let's end it somewhere here, and then bend gradually. Reselect, start our spine, end it here. Oops. Something like this. So that's how to achieve a bend in Rhino. It's just as simple to use. Now the next tool we are going to use for that is the pipe tool. So the pipe tool works in this, how it works. You use the control point curve to draw the shape that you want to, the shape that you are trying to model. So let's say this is the shape that we are trying to model. This is the kind of bent shape that we are trying to model. So when you draw it like this, you just select it and then type pipe in the command and press enter. When you press enter, it will say start radius. So you can zoom in to the top and you see that there is a line. The start radius is the thickness of how you want the pipe to be at that particular point or edge. So you determine the size you want, click, and then you see that the command will change to end radius. So the end radius is the other end. So there you determine the radius you want for that end. Then you click. And when you click, point for next radius and press enter. So you can point another radius anywhere, or you can just leave it like that and press enter. So when you press enter, you see that it's going to automatically fill or make your line solid, the line that you do solid. So here I have a very thin coming from there. You see that my pole is a bit thick at the end, and it converge as it goes to the top. That's because my first or the start radius was smaller than the end radius. So if you are not satisfied with that, you can reselect and then maybe get a reasonable start radius and end radius. So yeah, so this is better. Okay, so that's it. So in the next video, we are modeling an umbrella. Yeah, so see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.